Welcome to the Know. I'm Meg Turney.
I'm Miles Luna.
Happy Wookiee Life Day, everyone. Star Wars Battlefront. Can you do the noise? Oh, that was really good.
I don't know why I did T-Rex hands.
I asked Ryan to do it yesterday, and he went. Sounded like he was vomiting on himself. It was awesome. All right. So
Anyways, news.
Yes. Star Wars Battlefront has been frozen and carbonized for the last 10 years, and now returns with the next-gen installment.
It's been a long road to get here with leaked footage from canceled games and a decade's worth of expectations, but with The Force Awakens hitting theaters in just over a month, holy shit,
Yay!
Battlefront is the official sign that Star Wars is back. Is it a new hope for Star Wars games or a Phantom Menace? Get it?
Prequel joke.
Yeah.
Jar Jar Binks. With EA banking on selling 13 million plus copies and with nearly 10 million logging into the game's beta last month, it's safe to say that expectations.
Yeah.
I got a lot of them. For Star Wars Battlefront are pretty high.
What sex noise?
Sexpectations.
Okay.
Reviews started hitting late last night, and many of them are detecting a bit of a disturbance in the Force.
As of this morning, the game is seeing a lot of mixed reviews, holding an average of 75 on Metacritic. When you factor in the Xbox One score of 73 and the PlayStation 4 score of 78, that's compared to the 79 average of the original Star Wars Battlefront from 2004 and the 81 average of 2005 Star Wars Battlefront 2. So actually, the game's not scoring that far off from the originals.
Although to be fair, those were 2005 scores, which were probably more like 10 points after inflation. So, yeah, I think that's how inflation works.
I don't know. There's yen, the Japanese. I
But-
don't know. You got to look at yen or something.
I don't know.
how that
We
works.
barely knew how to internet 10 years ago. Yes, so what modern day critics say about the game compared to their Neanderthal counterparts? Polygon and Games Radar both gave it an 80 out of 100. GameSpot shot first for the 70, and Giant Bomb and Destructoid did their review runs in 60 parsecs.
That's not how parsecs work.
It is-
That's still not how parsecs work.
It's a distance.
Yeah. At the time of production for this video, IGN, EGM, some other acronyms, and Game Informer have yet to give their impressions, presumably because of ethics. This is an EA game after all, so I guess it's a little fair to make a few launch day contingencies. We all remember SimCity on launch day.
Fire.
Yeah.
Flames.
Those are the dark times.
Side of my face. So what are the reviewers saying about the game? Well, by and large, the consensus seems to be that Star Wars Battlefront is beautiful and fun, but ultimately pretty shallow. So, you know, kind of like how you'd review an ex-girlfriend.
Oh shit! Air horn, air horn, air horn. Anyways, game reviewers always bring a lot of baggage to these things. After EA's early access program allowed scores of players to unlock all the game's material in well under the 10-hour time limit, people have been concerned about just how much or how little content the game has. GameSpot said of Battlefront's shallow nature, Battlefront lacks the longevity that makes its source material great. It offers initial engagement, and for the first 10 hours, it swept me through its harrowing firefights at a rapid pace, but then the cracks begin to show. In the end, Battlefront feels more like a homage to Star Wars than a substantial Star Wars game itself.
Yes. That's really such a good voice.
I like doing
feel like
it.
you should just talk every day in that voice.
I mean, no, because then it's like
coffee.
No, because then it's like when you make Christmas cookies all around year, then they just become cookies. It's like you lose the specialness of it. It's okay,
I
be
just
patient.
want cookies.
Be patient.
I just, when it comes out, I just get so excited. Game Trailers agreed with this overall assessment, writing, "It's so good overall that it makes us hurt for more. It doesn't take long to get all the blasters and cards, and then all that remains are cosmetic options and emotes. Because everyone knows people just want so many emotes. Just like they want as many weapons."
I will say I do love the Destiny emotes. I
Yeah?
got the special Halloween one
Yeah,
where you just go
little-
ah, you scare everybody.
Little-
Anyways,
little-
the amount of weapons and unlocks seem to be a sticking point for reviewers, many of whom contrasted the game's lack of customization, loadouts, and classes to games like Call of Duty, who have all but mastered multiplayer progression. Unfortunately, Star Wars Battlefront is still a Padawan in this department, but that's probably because it's trying to find a balance between hardcore shooter and arcade shooter.
Games Radar summed this up nicely, saying, "Shooting here is incredibly stripped back and undemanding. You point, you shoot. Doesn't matter if you're running and hip shooting, your blaster accuracy remains the same as someone who is stationary and aiming down their sights at you. There are no revives, no special abilities outside of hero characters, no double jump even. Battlefront is specifically designed to welcome players of all capabilities with open arms, and it gives them the tools to score just as many points as the hardcore."
But does it feel like Star Wars? Because honestly, that's what we want.
Yes.
We want the Star Wars feel.
want it.
Well, thankfully, reviewers agree that Battlefront totally immerses you in the universe through its accuracy to the source material, sound design, and awesome levels. GameSpot praised the sound design in particular, saying, "It's Battlefront's sound design that truly reels you in. The ambient wildlife surrounds you, and explosions carry through bunker walls, even as the pitter-patter of rain strikes ferns in the wind. It speaks volumes that I considered turning the ubiquitous soundtrack off at times just to hear the detail in Battlefront's world. I'm sure they whispered it like
I
that
like
too.
it. Yes.
Yeah, he was like really into it.
He's in
like,
the bushes
and now I'm gonna write my
somewhere."
fan fiction.
Yes.
Anyways.
And while some reviewers felt like the iconic Star Wars maps didn't particularly feel well designed for a multiplayer shooter, they all seem to agree that they were still fun places to battle. Polygon writes, "There's fan service there and the game does look beautiful, but they're more than a refreshing change of scenery. The large redwood forests of Endor and the canyon-scarred wasteland of Tatooine upend a lot of modern level design sensibilities in favor of creative geography." Side note, Polygon admittedly wrote their review after only dabbling in the EA access for 10 hours, which seems kind of strange.
To be fair, it sounds like there's only 10 hours of game to play.
Yeah.
So much to the point that most reviews revolved around simply summarizing the types of game modes. There are 9 different multiplayer modes, and each reviewer seemed to favor a different one, although Supremacy, which pits 40 players against one another in the classic Battlefield structure, is agreed to be the standout. But unfortunately, one of the most enticing things about Battlefront hasn't been implemented with the most grace: heroes and villains. Battlefront 2 had 23 playable heroes and villains to choose from, creating some amazing, epic moments in the middle of intense firefights. But that is not quite the case in Battlefront.
Games Radar says of the game's disappointing heroes and villains that they are one of Battlefront's few shortcomings. They are also little fun to actually use in battle. Swing a lightsaber as Luke, and it never really feels like you're connecting with your enemies, leaving what should have been an empowering aspect of the game incredibly underwhelming. Worse, duels between Jedi or blast battles between Han and Boba Fett during heroes versus villains are more a question of hammering the attack buttons and spamming abilities until one of you falls over.
So that sucks, but on the bright side, it means you can finally enact some of your favorite fan fiction. Boba Fett never died! Fuck the Sarlacc pit! He ain't going out like a bitch! I don't care about your extended universe shit, that's how I wanted to go down.
Incidentally, Sarlacc pit's what I call my vagina.
Okay, well, anyways, my dick's called Boba Fett.
Really?
Because I'm gonna, you know what, let's just move past that
that's
joke.
super
Anyways,
weird.
my fanfics have finally come true, so that's just great. For months, many gamers have been wondering if the lack of a significant single-player story would hurt Battlefront. Reviewers have answered, saying, yeah, probably. US Gamer lamented the lack of core mode, saying, "One thing that's been nagging at the back of my mind about Star Wars Battlefront is the feeling that there's no real primary mode. Instead, the action is served up buffet style, with the destination mode depending on your mood in that moment."
DICE tried to remedy this lack of story mode by offering a few single-player and offline moments with not so much success. Destructoid writes of the offline missions, "It gets old in an afternoon. Why did it have to be like this? Why aren't there more maps and better bots available? It feels rushed, almost like EA had to add in a token offline game type just to have it in there. Putting in token objects just to have them in there doesn't sound like Star Wars at all."
Giant Bomb agreed that the single-player force was not very strong with this one. "The only thing these missions did for me was make me wish for a full campaign that utilized the great controls and production values that this game is capable of."
So in the end, Star Wars Battlefront isn't quite a New Hope or a Phantom Menace, but somewhere in between the dark and the light side of the Force.
Ooh, that's a nice analogy to there.
Oh, it's a
Murphy.
fun You're having a dream! It's a fun experience if you're looking for a casual shooter without much depth, letting you relive some of your favorite Star Wars memories and paying some stunning attention to recreating the feeling of the universe we all know and love.
On the flip side, there's really not much to do in the game, which is okay if you really love the arcadey style that it's going for, but not so much if you're expecting hours of new content and experiences. The light amount of stuff to do means that the game is designed around future DLC offerings, which we're going to have to wait for.
So basically, it's an EA game.
Yeah, pretty much. So, what do you guys think of Star Wars Battlefront so far? Do you feel like there's enough to do? Do you want a full story mode?
Let us know in the comments down below, and to stay in the know about future Star Wars Battlefront content and to have all of your EU questions answered, like the video and subscribe to the know.
Boom.
Nailed it.
You're still in boxes. Ha ha, I'm tall!